You're gonna, I'm sure next time somebody asks you,
I still gotta get you into the temple.
I know, I haven't seen that yet. I'd like to check it out.
I know somebody with a key.
Exactly.
Is that an initial on it? Or an initial for me?
Alright. Time being, I don't think we've got sound still. Oh, there it is, yep. Time being 6 o'clock, I'll call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Patty.
Don,
Here.
Wanda,
Here.
Dan,
Here,
Sherry,
Here.
Joe.
Here. At this time, does any commissioner have a reason to abstain for financial or non-financial reasons?
No, I do
No.
not.
I have none. The agenda, we've got executive session for poor relief. I would like to add personnel to that.
what are we gonna be is that for
Personnel issues.
job hirings or not?
Any additions or changes outside of that for the agenda?
No.
With that, I'd entertain a motion.
I'd move to approve the amended agenda.
Second.
Further discussion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-1. At this time, I'd entertain public comment. Would anybody in the audience care to come forward to make public comment? Hearing and seeing none, public comment is closed. We will move to item 5, new and update ambulance job descriptions. Mr. Hawkins, you're in and out, in and out.
Good thing you hadn't fallen asleep
Yeah,
yet.
no kidding. Okay, I think it was the end of last year, a lot of department heads were asked to update and revised, job descriptions within the department. I've had a couple positions that we added since then, kind of Troy's senior paramedic position and Daniel's senior paramedic position, which we have kind of readjusted the titles of those two jobs. Then I went on my little sabbatical, and we never got that completely approved by the commission. So what I'm here to do is just present these job descriptions to you and see if you have any questions and try to get them approved for the department. And we're moving Troy to the title change of deputy administrator for the ambulance, and then Daniel will be a FTO, field training officer supervisor. I'll make it a little more clear in the department and throughout the community who's responsible for what.
And so previously, they were senior
Senior
paramedics,
yeah.
staying at grade
That's
5.
Yes.
So no
yes.
changes there,
There's no
it's just
changes
separating.
in the pay grades or anything like that, no.
Yep, so, and you did add
I
the
did add a-
reserve EMS provider.
Yeah,
and
that
the
was the EVOC driver that no, I'm sorry, EMR, Emergency Medical Response, that we talked about some months ago, and we approved, and we found that that's not a good title for that. We were just gonna change that title to reserve. That way we can use EMRs or EMTs, or even a paramedic that wants to work with us but can't fulfill the scheduling requirements.
And-
Kind of a little different there. And then we
And then
did
the
add that
EVOC.
driver position, emergency vehicle operator.
So the only thing I noticed on those two is you list, let me get clear to the bottom here, because they were last, I
There was-
think. You list them as, at the very top, they're part-time positions right now, correct?
Yes, they are.
Yep, but you also list a full-time grade 2
Yes, I
there. And I guess I would suggest not putting a full-time grade 2 there, because technically we don't have a grade 2 right now. We can certainly make
Oh,
a
there is
grade
no
2.
grade
There
2.
is no
Okay.
grade 2 right now.
Okay.
And we've only approved them for part-time right now.
Right.
So.
I just put that in there so we wouldn't have to go back through that again, but
Yeah.
I did not realize, when I wrote it, I guess I did pay attention to the grade level.
So for those
So-
two, I think I would take that out, and then the
Okay,
only
I can
other
do that.
comment I had was on your job description, is I do think we need to make sure that we have, from the old job description, provides direct patient care as required by staffing limitations. And that's the bullet point 4 on the
Right.
current
The one
job
th- the-
position.
One of the things the reason I kind of pulled that out was because Department of Labor has a statute about administrative individuals that are on salary and cannot function on the ambulance as a paramedic or firefighter or what have you. And so I pulled that out so that future, I'm not gonna be here forever. And so, in the future, you wouldn't get in trouble with the job description. And if you want, I meant to bring that, but I forgot, but if you want, I can email I don't know if Department of Labor is a statute or a rule or whatever it is, but I can email that out to everybody, to all the commissioners so they can see it.
Okay. I would still like to see it in there.
Okay?
So that's the only comments I had on all of them. I thought they all looked real
Okay.
good, real,
Okay.
certainly much, if you looked at the old ones and compared them, much more explanation on
Yes.
what those folks do.
Okay, I can make those changes?
I think I'd agree, if you can email that out though.
I will,
That,
I will,
yeah.
I will.
Any other questions, comments on the job descriptions? They are an improvement over what we had. I think if we just get the updates and then approve at the next meeting, is that fine? I don't think there's any big rush to get it done tonight, is there?
I don't think so.
It's not pending it
Yeah.
And
yet.
I will be hopefully attending, the next meeting to ask for approval to hire a full-time EMT.
Okay,
I got one. I roped one in. So we're doing backgrounds on one right now.
good,
Wow,
Yeah.
good,
good to
So-
hear.
really good.
Okay.
Okay? Is that where we're at? Okay, and then.
Yeah,
I just
email
have-
that out and we'll,
You bet, I'll make
update.
the adjustments. You want these sent back out to you with the adjustments?
please.
Yes.
Okay, didn't know how much paperwork you wanted on your tablet. I would like to make just one quick announcement that, Bonnie Peterson, who's been in the department for 26 years, I just received her, retirement, letter, via email today. Did a couple texts back and forth, but I haven't got a chance to talk to her, so after 26 years, that's a big loss for the department. So she's been around she's been a staple,
Yeah.
there all the time, so
Will,
anyhow.
will that be, year end or when is she
She's pretty
officially
much
gonna
not,
retire?
she kinda got her shift scheduled covered for this month, so she's kinda done.
Okay, well, good for
Wish her
her.
well.
Yes, I will.
Thanks for her
All
service
right.
to the county.
All right, well, thank you guys. If there's nothing else, I'll let Joe go on with his quick meeting schedule.
Thanks,
Scott.
Steve.
You bet, thank you.
Okay, item 6, Dana, come forward, agreement for library services.
I have a couple handouts, if I could just pass those down, that would be great. Thank you for having me here tonight. I just brought the agreement for you for the provision of library services, and I haven't changed anything from last year's agreement because the contribution from the county is the same. The cost of the cards for county members is the same, but just kind of updated dates, and wanted to bring that before you again. And I also, what I handed out to you was our annual report from 2021, which I know it's almost old news, but it's just really a good highlight and a snapshot, I think, of all the things that the library offers, the programs and services that we do. There's a lot in there, so I hope at your own convenience you will look through it more and let me know if you have questions about anything. But the library really does a lot of things for the community, for all ages, and I've received a lot of comments over the last year, especially about library staff being very helpful and all the programs we're doing. So I think the library is really an asset to the community and doing good things, and we've got a great staff of people there. So if anyone has questions for me about anything, I'd be happy to answer them.
I don't. Kids still enjoy story time, so.
Good. And I want to thank you guys too for your continued support of the library and all that you do, and having a commissioner on the board has been very helpful and good in kind of keeping that communication open. So thank you for your support.
Thanks, Dana.
Anything else? All right.
With that, I'd entertain a motion to approve the agreement for the provision of library services.
I'll move approval of the provision of library services.
Second.
Eeny, meeny, Commission wanted
Arm wrestle for it.
a motion and a second. Further discussion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you, Dana.
Okay. Item 7, rural access infrastructure.
It's a resolution I kind of copied off of Minnehaha County. This is what they are using to do the rural infrastructure awarding. It's kind of the same awarding method as they use for the big grant. For the point system, it's up to a 20-point system. It goes by impact, daily traffic, detour length, then also how the structure is rated, if the structure is posted with a load rating or not, and then also by how much skin they want to put in the game. If they 80%, the county does 80%, the township does 20, well, 0 points. The county pays 75%, and the township does 25, well, it's 1.67, and so on and so forth, just keeps going up. Just for an example, ADT, amount of traffic, daily traffic, say it's 25 vehicles affected by that structure. And the detour length would be 3 miles to go around. Divide that by 100 would give you a 0.75 for a point. Say the structure is critical, well, that's 10 points. Commercial, which I would consider ag commercial, there's another 2 points. If they do a 75-25 split, well, that's another 1.67, well, it'd come out to 14.42.
What is you could have a road that's residential, commercial, and recreational, right?
You
And add
could.
them all on there, so,
Yep.
'cause there's,
Yeah, say for instance, like Marindal Lake, be
Well, I mean,
recreational,
or hunting.
residential, and
or hunting, a lot
Or
of those
hunting.
walk-in areas and,
Yep.
yeah.
so that road right
sense.
there would get you an extra 2, 4, 5 points. So,
When you're doing the traffic counts on these, is it, do you actually put out something to count, or?
well, the
or is
traffic
it-
counts,
On some of these roads, are probably not.
we're not supposed to be doing the traffic, that's on the township to do their traffic count. I guess there's nothing stating they gotta have a physical,
Sure. Just
put the
best
rope out
guess.
there, and it's the best guess
Yeah.
answer.
Understood.
I don't know, is there any other questions on this? I just felt this would be a good tool to use for a point system on awarding, like if we have too many projects to choose from, well, this is a tool to process of elimination.
So let's take a few steps back. So we had 4 townships apply. They each applied for 2 bridges, so we have 8 applications. Did you add them all up and see how much those are worth?
I was going to do that today and I did not. If I remember right, it'll be below.
It'll be below what we have in the bank, and we have
Right.
$289,495 available. So this really is our beta year, if you will, the trial year. Everybody is struggling with how best to do this, and this seems like the most fair. Had we got 50 applications, something like this is very important because it
Right.
helps to take away some of the favoritism that oftentimes comes into play. Now, this year, the county chose not to apply for these funds, but next year we will.
Right.
So we also want the commission to have some guidance with little input from you, because if you're applying, you shouldn't be part of that discussion to decide in the end
All right.
on that. So that's what this tool is about, is to try and set up for the future. Hopefully they keep funding this. Now, next year, we will receive another $212,000. The year after that, $212,000, and after that, it's up to the legislature to keep funding it. So hopefully they do, because I think it's going to be a good program.
That's, I was going through our townships and, well, there's 3 right away that I have in mind, so.
Yep, and so ours will be part of our 5-year plan, but be eligible, that's the word I'm looking for these funds as well. So I thought it was really laid out nicely. There were a few changes from what Minnehaha did that we felt didn't quite fit our county, so Mike was good about updating all that.
When did we as a county decide that we weren't gonna apply for any of the unorganized townships? Because, I mean, I understand why we're doing this, but there's half of the county is unorganized. And there's very likely some bridges that are in disrepair, and to just take half of the county out of it, then there's an option that,
It was my decision, I guess. I decided,
Sure.
maybe that's wrong, but I felt, I'm not saying I know everything, but I felt that our small structures, I don't ever remember seeing anything terrible
Sure.
to where it was unsafe, load rating. Let's give the townships first crack at it.
okay. Yeah, no, that's fine. I wanted to know why, and I believe one of the townships doesn't qualify and another one didn't apply in time. So then next year, we're gonna have the unorganized townships plus possibly some of the ones that didn't qualify plus the other ones. So,
But everybody had their opportunity this year.
Yep, they did. And the other thing is, because Mike said he was going to do that, and I supported that decision, because the viewpoint in this county has always been that the county kicks in dollars on the unorganized township from our general fund. And that's true. So this was their ability to get a little bit of that money back with the county stepping aside for the first year. And I felt that was a good decision. Of the 9 organized, only 4 ended up applying. So they came to the meetings and they got their paperwork done, and they're going to benefit from it.
I would agree with that too, and I think to keep in mind in the future, I personally, I don't feel that it's a commission decision on, we have a highway superintendent and he knows the roads, and if, especially this first year, see how it goes, I fully support that.
Because there is,
Mike's call.
you drive through some of the organized townships, there are some really tough structures comparing to what we have to take care of.
sure.
I just, yeah.
Now, in the future, would you see this as the end all essentially, whatever that point system is that's where it's at? Or is it just one of the tools for that discussion? So if, let's say I'm Township A and I've got a structure and I've got 40 points, and Sherry's Township B and she's got 41 points, is that it? Or would you see commission, and this is probably more so a question for commission, would there be anything else to interject into that discussion, or is it a point system only? And the reason I ask is because I think this is really good. It is difficult, like a traffic count, that's gonna be pretty subjective. I don't think anyone's gonna come out and say, yeah, we've got 1,000 cars coming down this township road, but I'm just curious what people feel like for the future,
I think we need something other than personal preference.
right.
Some kind of a point system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and it's a tool. I mean, residential counts for one, but that's one house or 50 houses still counts for 1 point. And that's why, ultimately it's gonna be the county commission's job
Right.
to decide this. So I think it'll work. Good system.
One of the reasons I asked that, and I was back and forth if I should bring it up or if it should be in this resolution, but, one of the thoughts I had, and I kind of bounced it off Mike too, is each township has a certain number of structures that's identified. And should that come into that option? If this township has 100 structures and this township has 25, and they're both applying for the same amount of money, let's say, does the one that has 100 structures get preference, or is it divvied out proportionally according to the number of structures in each township?
Or is it somehow based on how bad the structures are?
Yes.
We had that discussion too, and then the argument's gonna be, well, we've been good stewards of our township, so we don't have a lot of bad structures. So now you're gonna penalize us for being good stewards.
Isn't that how the bridge improvement grant at the state works? It goes on the merits of that structure and how good or bad it is, not on how many structures are there.
Yeah, it's
because
down
there-
to that.
there
But
are
isn't
some
a
have-
culvert different than a bridge?
Well,
Depends on how long it is.
only reason I
It does.
even thought about doing that is that's how the funding was awarded to the counties, was the state said your county has X amount of structures and this county has X amount, and it was proportional. And to just follow suit down with it. I just thought I'd throw it out there to see what people's thoughts were,
If we're gonna
should be a
stick,
consideration or not.
if we're gonna stick with this on criteria based and kinda let it be on a point system, then I'd say let it be on a point system. And if you start adding other merits in, then you get away from that point system and, maybe a township has half the structures it does, then we're gonna get structures that are in better shape than some of these other ones getting replaced. So I would just stick with what we have here. This'll be good. If we need to adapt it down the road, that's
Yeah,
what
this
Mike
is
will
gonna be
do.
a learning,
Well, there's a
learning
maximum
curve,
of 20
too.
points, and realistically, you're gonna get to the point to where the only way you can gain more points is by sticking more money into
Yeah.
it.
right.
And are they going to?
Yeah. Well, I was talking to a couple of township folks a while ago, and they don't have tons of money to fix this stuff up either. The ones that are getting repaired desperately need it. They don't have the funds to repair stuff that doesn't desperately need it, so. But are you looking for a
Okay, with
motion?
that, I'd entertain a motion.
I'd make a motion to adopt the rural access infrastructure resolution to establish criteria to award rural action infrastructure funding.
Second.
Motion and a second, and that's gonna be resolution 22-06. So motion and a second to approve resolution 22-06. Further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay.
When do we need to review all those? Do you have a preference?
I will try to get all the information packets put together for each township, and I'll forward them on in an email to you guys. I'll try to get that done by the end of the week.
When's the due date, when they have to be? When's the final date?
January 31st?
15.
15th.
January 15.
Maybe, I don't know, we do have some new people coming on the board. Maybe this would be a good opportunity to put it on after January.
I would disagree, I guess, myself. I
It
don't
worries-
think they're gonna be versed in what this program is.
That's one thing that does worry me with the new commission. I'm just saying there's a lot of stuff, I would assume as a new commissioner, a lot of stuff to learn real short like, and
Yeah.
It would have to be the very first meeting.
you keep adding to their
January.
plate. Yeah, and it would be the very
Yeah.
first meeting of the month,
Because the second one is on the 17th.
so they wouldn't even have time to study or understand the program.
Get those out, we'll get it on the agenda this year.
Okay. All righty, thank you.
Okay, item 8.
We have 4 plats tonight. First one is plat of Tract F, Deer Ridge, in the northeast quarter of the southeast quarter of Section 8, Township 93 North, Range 56 west of the 5th Principal Meridian, Yankton County, South Dakota.
Move approval of the plat.
Second.
Motion and a second. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next one's plat of Kelsey's Addition in the southeast quarter of Section 20, Township 95 North, Range 57 west of the 5th Principal Meridian, Yankton County, South Dakota.
Move approval.
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes.
Next one's plat of Tract 1 and Tract 2 of Ackland Addition, an addition in the southeast quarter of Section 32, Township 96 North, Range 54 west of the 5th Principal Meridian, Yankton County, South Dakota.
Is this one 2 plats then we're doing? Because I see on
2
page.
tracts.
Well, on page, okay, because I was looking at the number of acres on the second page is 53.42.
One's the buildings and one's
Okay.
the rest
So
of
one
it.
is 17.20 and 36.22.
Right.
Got it. Move approval.
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
The last one is plat of Keith's Addition in the southwest quarter, the northwest quarter of Section 13, Township 93 North, Range 57 west of the 5th Principal Meridian, Yankton County, South Dakota.
Move approval.
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Bless you.
One thing I did want to mention about these plats of farmland less than the 20 acres, which we're following the ordinance, we allow that for an existing farmstead, is state law did change on July 1st as far as ag land classification. So if you would like to read the statute, it's 10-6-112, and it does discuss that the principal use of that parcel is ag, not in order to get the ag land exemption versus a owner occupied for just a residence. And it doesn't affect your county taxes, but I believe it affects your school taxes. So when you look at these, and I pulled these two up, they're big enough to, you have to either produce $2,500 in 3 of 5 years, or if it's less than 20 acres, you have to be part of a management structure that has like 160 acres. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
It's a core, yeah, I think it is.
So you have to be careful. If you get these too small and you're essentially, all you have is a home sitting on 1 acre, can you make $2,500 in ag income off that 1 acre? So that will be up to our next director of equalization to figure out how to apply this new law when they come in. And our county will most likely need to revisit all of those acreages less than 20 acres to ensure they meet the ag land classification. So I just wanted to mention that as we start plotting these out, they're perfectly legal under our ordinance, but when you start getting into the taxation laws, which are separate from county, these things need to be considered. So if you still have grain bins and cattle feedlot or whatever it is, certainly that gets your ag, but if you're just, plotting that off, you could be at risk for losing your ag land exemption. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. We need to go into ditch board. I noticed there isn't a time posted. I don't know if that's gonna be an issue, but,
I don't think so, it wasn't advertised.
okay.
Does ditch board need to be advertised? Like Board of Adjustment? Deb, do we need to advertise? Is that a hearing?
I don't think, it's not a hearing.
We never have before.
Okay. I'd entertain a motion to go into ditch board.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. So I just got them this afternoon and wasn't home, so I emailed them as I was sitting here, some bids out. One of these goes back 3 years now to the ditch board meeting. There was work approved in those minutes, and the work has not been completed. It was bid out, a bid was accepted, and that contractor failed to follow through on that for various reasons. But, so one of those is several years old, and the people along there would like that work completed. And the other one was, I think at the last February's ditch board meeting, was approved. So what we did this round, in the past, I'd met with some people along the ditch, walked it with them, done whatever, identified spots, and helped with getting bids and all of that. And I will not be here next year, so we kind of went out on what Clay County does is uses All-Tag engineering, and they fly it. So we kind of piggybacked on that, and I asked them when they fly theirs to fly ours, identify spots, put a bid packet together. So they did so, and put out, they put out a bid notice, and there was no bids at the first bid notice. Made some modifications to timing of the project and sent out for rebid. And in that email, there's 2 bids now, and now mine won't open. Crying out loud. There's 2 bids. One from Two Rivers and one from Dan Weeman. And I would like to, the people who live and farm along there would like to have this approved so they can begin work on that. I'm working on getting the amounts. Mine, for whatever reason, won't open. Thank you. So the engineer's estimate was $171,000. This is combined work for Clay Creek and Yankton clay ditch cleanout. The combined bid from Two Rivers was $144,207.77. And the combined bid for Weeman Construction was $137,750. The total for the Clay Creek ditch, I gotta add these up. Would be $63,070. $63,070.
Is that off the Weeman?
That is off of Weeman.
What was the other one?
Deducted off theirs?
Pardon?
That's the portion of
That
the
would be
total.
the
So-
portion, because they're two separate entities, so the
Taxing district.
Clay, that's for Clay Creek. The Yankton Clay would be, I'm just gonna verify my math here. I come up with 71,300. And that would be for the Yankton clay ditch. If I add those together, 134, that doesn't add up.
Nope.
Wasn't the Weeman Construction, that was the one that initially had a bid last time, was correct?
He did some work on the laterals,
Okay, that's what it was. And he completed that, correct?
and that was completed, correct?
Okay. No,
The people,
Sure.
work was satisfactory and no complaints with
What
that.
was the,
The first one I have 66,450. I must have missed.
what was the reason the other bid that we got was not, didn't,
Done?
what's that, yeah,
I could speculate that it was
Okay.
bid too cheap, but I think weather and timing
Sure.
was part of it.
I guess I know, work was approved at the Yankton Clay Ditch meeting, but do we have to re-advertise for bids then? Or maybe that was done, I guess I don't,
This was advertised, these bid packets were advertised
okay,
and went out, and then I went to Clay County for a bid opening for these, so.
okay.
Okay, so 66,450 for Clay Creek, 71,300 for the Yankton Clay Ditch. And
71.5 for what?
71,300 for the Yankton Clay Ditch. And these were bid as a single bid, but split between the two of them to reduce mobilization costs and things of that nature. So Patty, do you have the totals in those accounts so we know that we can, oh, that's what that is, okay. So Clay Creek Ditch currently has $124,513. Yankton Clay has $154,820. So there should not be any issues paying for this out of those accounts.
That's what it's there for.
Yep. So if there's any questions, what I know I can answer, otherwise I'd entertain a motion. I would recommend the Weeman construction bid.
Are they gonna start right away, or is it?
Yep,
As-
intention is to start right away. There's some tree removal that can be done, and as much dirt work can be done as possible before it frees up, so.
I'd make a motion to accept the Weeman Construction LLC bid.
Okay, motion, is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve Weedman Construction LLC bid and totaling $137,750. Further discussion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. And I'd entertain a motion to come out of ditch board.
So moved.
Second.
Further discussion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. We are now in regular session. All right, thank you for your. Okay, with that, we'll move to item 12, petition for White Crane Estates Road District.
They just presented the petition, and then if it is approved tonight, then, we'll have an election. And for the, individuals in the road district,
Okay,
and then that will be brought to you for approval.
okay.
So essentially, this covers tulip, lily, lilac, violet, and it looks like an unnamed north-south road. They don't make any mention of the north side of this because there's not a road there yet. So I would think eventually they'll have to figure that out with the north property owner, but that's for future.
Any questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
Move to approve the petition.
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Moving on, item 13, speed limit resolution for Kaiser Road.
Okay, so I had called 3 people and said it was gonna be at 6:55, that was on the
Okay.
agenda. So I don't know if maybe we should
Yep,
do some
we
other
can
things unless
certainly-
everybody I called is here. Maybe, so it's up to the commission if they'd like to wait a little bit or just go ahead and do it.
Or we could skip down to the November 1st minutes.
Yeah, we can certainly do that, the claims and
Yeah, we'll
pool
get some
cash
of
and
these little
stuff.
things out of the way, I guess.
Give folks a
Um,
few more minutes to get here.
So let's jump to item 16, November 1st, 2022 meeting minutes.
Were there any comments on the minutes? I'd move approval.
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passes. Claims?
Only question was alternative HRD under the commission,
What page are you on?
one.
Oh, right on page 1.
I think those were, you had called, and I
Okay.
think Joe had called, and I called earlier, I couldn't remember which month I called, but yes, we have used their service.
Okay.
Move approval of the claims.
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Patty, do you need separate motions for the September and October,
No,
or
I
just,
think we can do it, just stipulate that it's September and October,
and the treasurer report?
yes.
Okay, so I would move approval of the September and October pool cash and the auditor treasurer report.
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. About 10 minutes early.
Commissioner,
I think we'll do commissioner updates, and then we'll probably jump back into the resolution from there, so. Commissioner updates. Don't all speak at once. Okay.
Well, I got, attended the RTEC board meeting, last Thursday, I think. And one of the things that they do, they've expanded their programs quite a bit, but one of the things that they do is a program for leadership fundamentals for supervisors. And I thought that sounded interesting for some of our department heads to attend. And I would suggest that we contact the head of that organization and ask them to come and make a presentation on it.
At a commission meeting?
Yes.
Anyone else?
I don't think so.
So one thing, since we are waiting, I was going to mention, recently the city, it was a couple meetings ago, their commissioners approved a 6% adjustment to their salary matrix. And when we did our budgeting in the summer, we approved a 5. So with the change in healthcare that we recently did in moving from Blue Cross to Medica, it saved the county significant dollars to do that. Instead of taking the over $100,000 increase, going to Blue Cross Blue Shield, we chose Medica, and our increase was much less. So I would like the commission to ponder, instead of giving a 5% adjustment, to match the cities and go with 6. So I'd like you to think about that, because in the end, looking at what we saved on insurance and what that extra 1% will cost, the county is still money ahead. And this is a big change. Blue Cross and Blue Shield is an excellent insurance company. I hope Medica is just as good. The only reason I bring it up, and I don't wait until January for 2 new commissioners to consider this, is that first meeting, we've already said, is kind of a whirlwind for new commissioners. We've all been there. And the auditor's office has to have payroll going before that second meeting, especially with an adjustment to everybody's pay and everything. So given there are 3 commissioners here who are going to be here next year, that is a majority of next year's board. So at a meeting in December, I would like to discuss this and to see if there is support for showing that goodwill to our employees. And like I said, we're still money ahead, not as much as if we didn't do it, but I do think it shows goodwill toward our employees for that.
We have a end of year meeting at the end of December, and I was gonna put that on the agenda anyway, to approve the original 5,
Okay,
so.
and that would give you enough time, and I can work with the auditor's office to get that matrix adjusted and stuff and ready to go for next year. So give it some thought. If you'd like my calculations for where it is, I can certainly send those to you.
I think maybe at the first or second meeting in December, we can have a discussion and then have it on that final meeting to approve, unless we feel like we can make that a decision.
We'll probably also need to discuss, do we give, I guess, what is Christmas on this year? And I know we give the day before Christmas off.
It's on Sunday.
Sunday, so we're Monday, and then would need to approve that, correct?
No,
Nope.
that's
All
automatic.
right.
Although the state is closed on the 23rd.
I'm sorry?
The state has already sent out their closed on the 23rd.
Is everybody done?
Do you have an update?
Yeah, just Operation Green Light, I think, was a success. Had received nothing but positive comments on that, and believe we're one of the few, if not the only county who observed it, and so hopefully we can do it again next year. The second thing I was gonna bring up is we're gonna be really struggling with the budget next year for our bridge improvement grants, costs. Talking to some of the people at the County Commission Association, I think it'd be wise to meet with our legislators ahead of the session and just relay the concerns that we have with county funding. You know, our bridge improvement grant, we got awarded $3 million. The bridge is $8 million. How are we gonna make that happen? The $200 million affordable housing grant that's available, I think that's something we can discuss. Another thing that was brought up is there appears to be a bill going to be moving forward, helping to fund veteran services at the county level. Mental health costs, healthcare costs, how are those gonna work with the Medicaid expansion? So I think it'd be well worth at least a couple of us meeting with our representatives going to peer, and so they can see it from our side. If anybody, if with the board's permission, I think we should do that probably December timeframe before they get up there. And if anybody wants to meet with me and those guys, I think that'd be good. So is there any issue if we do that?
Anybody can meet with them at any time. I
Yeah,
guess.
well, but representing the county, I mean, these are issues that don't affect me, well, they do affect me as a person, but the county more.
I
So-
got a call today from the city manager's office, and they're having a meet with your legislatures meeting on the 12th of December from 9 to 10:30, and I was invited to that. I don't know if the rest of you were or not.
Yeah.
You were?
No, I haven't, you're important, Don.
Yeah. Thanks for pronouncing it that way.
No, but I think that's exactly where we need to bring it up from. The city has their goals, but the county, you know, government's so fundamentally different, especially with the poor relief and indigent care and all of those that are put upon us. So I think it would be well worth the time to relay those concerns, so.
Well, perhaps we could arrange with the legislators to have a meeting from 10:30 that day until
Sure.
12 or something.
Okay.
Okay.
You want here or meet with them, or did you want to set that up, Don, or what did you
I
want to
can
do?
try and set it up, yeah.
That's a, okay. And then I suppose we'd have to do a announcement of a quorum, and if we're gonna have
Well,
us,
who's all going?
well, I would like to be that, attend, and Wanda and Don, so at least 3 of us.
Could potentially be
Well,
a
I'll
quorum.
just put
Yeah.
it in just to be safe. And when is the date again?
December 12th.
From 9 to 10:30?
No, that's the.
10:30 to noon.
They're already 10:30 to noon.
Gary, will you work with Don and let us know when that's set up? Appreciate it. Thanks, Don.
Can someone let me know so I can advertise them?
Okay, any more updates? With that, we are gonna go back to item 13, speed limit resolution for Kaiser Road. Dan, did you get a resolution together?
The state's attorney's office has provided us one. Do you guys all have a copy of that?
Oh, here,
Yep.
yeah, yep.
Again, per the last couple meetings, Sherry and I went and visited with a lot of the citizens out on Kaiser Road, and one of the big concerns was speeding vehicles, and seemed like it was a safety issue. Certainly, the vast majority of people I spoke with were in favor of reducing the speed limit to 30 miles per hour. But there's probably, I assume there's some people here from Kaiser Road and 434, tonight, so they'd want to speak on this.
Do you want to read that resolution, Dan?
Yeah, not really. If somebody else wants to, they can.
Your name's right on it.
Oh, okay. All right. Establishing reduced speed limit for a highway, whereas pursuant to South Dakota Codified Law 32-25-9.1, the Yankton County Board of Commissioners may determine and establish speed zones upon all or part of the highway under its jurisdiction, having charge of the maintenance of its roads, and whereas the portion of Yankton County Road 434th Avenue from South Dakota Highway 50 to Kaiser Road in the approximate distance of 7,900 feet, and that portion of Yankton County Road, Kaiser Road from South Dakota Highway 154, 435th Avenue to 434 Avenue in the approximate distance to 5,500 feet has seen a significant increase in residential dwelling and residential traffic, and whereas the speed limit on the residential road is currently 40 miles per hour, and whereas the Yankton County Highway Superintendent recommends that the herein road described roadway speed limit be reduced to 30 miles per hour to ensure the safety of travelers on said roadways due to the significant number of residential traffic and residential dwellings located thereon hereby. Whereas pursuant to South Dakota Codified Law 7-18A-8, the adoption of a resolution may take effect immediately for the preservation of the public peace, health, or safety. Now therefore be it resolved by the Yankton County Board of Commissioners in accordance with South Dakota Codified Law 32-25-9.1 declares that the Yankton County Highway Department is hereby authorized to reduce the speed limit on 434th Avenue to 30 miles per hour from South Dakota Highway 50 to Kaiser Road in the approximate distance of 7,900 feet, and the Yankton County Highway Department is authorized to reduce the speed limit on Kaiser Road to 30 miles per hour from South Dakota Highway 154, 435th Avenue to 434th Avenue in the approximate distance to 5,500 feet.
Okay.
I think that's Highway 153. Am I right on that?
Instead of 154,
Yeah,
I think you might.
I think it's
be right.
153. So there's two places, the second paragraph and then the long now therefore be it resolved.
I think you're correct.
Yep, I believe that is correct.
Okay, we've had a few discussions on this. Right now, I'll entertain public comment on this resolution, if anybody care to speak on that road. It's up to you. If you want to, come on forward. Please state your name for the record and
My name is Steve Kirby. I live 30938 434th. And my concern is, when you come off of Highway 50 and you head south on 434th, I'm gonna get run over just getting my mail. Because we're the fourth house in, and when you come across the hill, you can't even see us. It's just the way that it crowns like that. This summer with all the dust, I could usually tell if somebody was coming, but not always. And a speed limit won't necessarily make everybody go as slow as we want them to, but I think it will help. And if you go an eighth of a mile farther south, it does go down to 30 miles an hour.
We found out that's not official. Somebody
is
just
that
set
right?
up that sign, so yeah, exactly.
Where do you get those?
Yeah, I don't know. So you're in support of?
We're very much in support of
All right.
that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Evening, my name's Kelly Knife. I live on 434, right on the west corner of Kaiser Road. And we've got a couple other properties on Kaiser Road that we own as well. So I was invited to one meeting about 3 or 4 weeks ago for the residents of the people who live on that road. And I quite honestly was surprised to see that this got this far this quickly, which is good. I appreciate the expedience of that. But there were a lot of potential solutions listed or talked about that night, and this was one. okay?
Correct.
And one of the concerns with it certainly respect the need to reduce the speed from a safety standpoint. A lot of children living on that road, especially on the eastern end of that road. And so I do support the resolution. I don't have any issue with that. But a change in speed limit without any additional patrolling is as worthless as the signs. You know, it's good money after bad, you know what I mean? And so I know that there's some work being done. I haven't heard what the results of that are, but I know some discussions were had about some potential increase in patrolling to help enforce that. To the extent that it becomes, you know, a little more patrolled, and to the extent that it becomes a less desirable path for people to take a shortcut and take that route versus stay on the highways because of the reduced speed limit, that's a positive thing that reduces the amount of traffic on there. But I also want to make sure that we don't take the other options and other things that were discussed that night and set them aside because, hey, we got the speed limit reduced, let's stick with that and see how that goes for the next while. The washboards on the road are bad, and I realize we're in a very, you know, dry time frame, and it's going to be hard to prevent that to a degree. But speed causes that in one respect, but acceleration and deceleration have a big impact on that as well. Excess gravel on uphill sides can create a lot of washboarding activity, and it's hard not to have excess gravel right now when it's so dry. There's no moisture to hold the clay base there, and we're seeing that erode and disappear over time. So to me, this is a good first step, but there's a lot more work to do with regards to that road. And I just don't want to see this resolution be hey, we got this done, and I appreciate, like I said, the work that was done to get this point, but to me, there's a lot more discussion to be had about resolving this issue long-term.
Yep.
Thank you.
I'll just comment on that too. At the previous meeting, this was kind of determined as we can get this done in a fairly speedy manner. And I think Commissioner Klimish is gonna hold some more meetings similar to what was done to kind of further discussions and try to push something along, I guess. But, so hopefully this is, yeah, not the end of the discussions anyway.
And I have spoken with the sheriff, and he has said there will be additional patrols in that area, so,
The old one or the new one?
the current one.
What?
The current sheriff.
Any more public comment on this? Hearing and seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board. Any discussion, any other comments?
The corrections Sherry pointed out are accurate. Where I saw it to go to Highway 153 in the second paragraph and sixth paragraph.
2207, resolution.
Yes, I'm sorry.
I'll move approval with those two adjustments.
Second.
Motion in a second, further discussion? Well, I just have one question, because Mike is named on here, did he see this and?
He did.
Okay,
He sent,
He handed it out.
I just wanted to make sure,
He sent everything to Rob
yeah,
that he wanted in it, and then I gave him a copy tonight, so
Okay.
I did.
okay. With that, I'd end, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
Deb, can you send me that so I can put it in the minutes then?
Yes, would you, are you signing it, or do you want to wait till I can? do
We've
this.
got to make those,
I'll make those changes and I'll email Patty with the copy.
okay,
They can sign.
yep, that'll work. Okay. We are to item 14, Code of Conduct.
Thank you all for coming for them.
Thank you.
Did Mike indicate with the timeline how long it's gonna take to get those new signs up to anybody?
No, it shouldn't take too long. I would
Okay.
think he's probably got a few unless he's got to order one.
Unless he has to order some signs.
Yeah,
instead of borrowing
Well, we
from
can
the
leave the
city.
one up, maybe that's
Stealing them.
correct already. So-
I don't know if we can get signs, you can't get a title printed until February, they ran out of paper.
Yep, I saw that.
Oh my.
it's a special kind of paper.
Can get wrapping paper, though. How does that work? Wrapping paper?
But you can do some stuff online,
Right,
because that's safe.
yep. All right, so on item 14, code of conduct. Last meeting, we discussed that.
And it was revised by me,
Okay.
and I emailed it out, and I don't know who all got it.
I did.
I did not.
Because I don't have it in my packet.
Okay, I do not have it.
Huh?
I didn't get one to put it in the packet.
Well, my packet only goes up to item,
Oh, you sent, yeah, I see.
11 on the agenda.
Yeah, you asked me to get it on the I see this. Let me forward this real quick.
She didn't have too many typos.
Well, we can always put it on next one, too.
I was just gonna say, we could move it to the next one.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I think it's just important to have one at some point. I don't think we need it today.
Okay. Let's,
And by then, everybody might have a chance to look at it.
Did anybody else stop at item 11?
In the packet?
No.
I should have it at 20.
I got, mine goes to 17.
Yeah, but it doesn't have all of the things that are
Who's on?
on the agenda.
Gary, you're on that emails from Thursday. Can you forward that out to everybody? When, like, tomorrow or whatever? Thank you.
Can you include Patty so that she can add it in online?
Perhaps we could close the door.
All right. So we were gonna move forward then. We'll put that on the next meeting, move forward to social media policy.
So I had emailed that out, I think it was yesterday morning, to every
Yeah, I had the
commissioner.
chance to read that in the email.
So it's, oh, shoot. There we go. Oh. Set that away, it's so big.
Now you scared him away.
So what was sent out was kind of based on a conversation I had with the person from the city, the Municipal League of Cities, and then I think it was Pennington. It was Pennington or Brown. I just talked to Brown. So really what it does is when you look at our employee handbook, there's already a section in there, and I had supplied that previously, it's like 313, that talks about an employee's behavior when they're out on social media. So this one tries to focus more on the county having a Facebook page or a Twitter account, et cetera. So at the top, it talks about, first you need to determine, do we need social media? The sites need to be reviewed and approved by the county commission if they're new. So we probably don't want departments in the future to just make a page. And then we come to find out we've got a page and it's not being properly controlled, et cetera. So the next bullet point, identify the page as official, verified county sites. And if you follow the Twitter conversation at all in that whole making things official conversation. Are we going to allow comments? Are we not going to allow comments, et cetera? It talks about who should do the original posting, and then everybody else should be sharing that post. For example, this is very important for Paul. So if Paul's got a situation, Paul makes a post, and then Mike is there for roads, and then Mike makes a post, that's two different stories. So what we want is Paul probably in that case should be the lead. Mike should say, yep, include this, and then Mike can share it if he feels we need to be sharing things. County social media sites should not be liking anything, because that shows favoritism, especially when you get into the political arena, et cetera. So that's really what that first portion, requirements of each social media site, covers. The next one is responsibility. So the director of the department would be responsible for it, monitoring, responding to, taking timely action, especially when comments, if we do allow comments, if comments are made. They need to be the person who says, is that an appropriate comment? Can I legally take it down? The director may distribute that authority to someone if they're gone, et cetera. Let's see, identify as the county department and not as their individual self. And I gave in red as an example, we currently have a Yankton County Commission Facebook page. I had historically posted that page as Sherry Loest. We can't have that in the future. That got us in trouble. So if I would have someone blocked on my page, then they're blocked from the county's page, and that's not acceptable. So they need to be logging in as Yankton County Commission and doing the post that way, and that way we have no blocking, et cetera. There shall be a minimum of 2 administrators on everything. So if I'm an administrator and Joe's an administrator and I get hit by the bread truck, we've got Joe here who still knows what's going on, et cetera. Number of employees who are allowed to post. I don't think we should be allowing 10 or 20 people to post to a site. We need to control that message. And I think to date, the people, Deb and I had met with everybody essentially who had one. They do already have a structure in place, but to make that official in our guidance here is important. Any employee who posts to a county site is subject to the Yankton County Handbook, Section 313, for how they do it. If an employee severs employment, we need to revoke their privileges. So the next section talks about compliance with public records. And a lot of this came from that municipal league of cities, whatever that is. You have to think about these things as public documents. So really, and from what I can tell, we do a good job of this. All of our official documents are on our county website. So Patty's got her tax rolls out there, the tax levies, our ordinances are posted there. So that is our official public document. Our agendas are there. So if we choose to keep the Yankton County Commission Facebook page, if we're going to say the agenda is out, we need to link back to our website and have a link. We shouldn't be taking a picture of the agenda and posting it on our website. So again, they try to get into just good etiquette in handling documents. Other social media avenues serve only as a secondary outlet for disseminating that information. So if public records are posted to a social media site, whoever's the site administrator has to make sure they're treating that as an original document and retaining a copy for public records. The next section talks about public comments. They are considered First Amendment and should not be removed simply because they are favorable or unfavorable toward the county or department. So just a general post of, man, Yankton County roads suck. We can't take it down just because it's unfavorable. That stated, comments should be removed by the social media site administrator if they are off topic, obscene or pornographic, defamatory, harassing, commercial, criminal, political, or that violate the intellectual property rights or confidential personal records of others. And these words were taken from the Pennington County document. It was taken from that League of Municipalities document, and my discussion here with the city of Yankton as well. That's the general guidelines that they follow. Also, that next one, on each social media site, we need to have things stated. The county reserves the right to remove posts that violate the social media policy. That needs to be stated so people understand that we have the authority to do that and when we can do that. Comments are monitored only during business hours, and information conveyed after business hours will be taken care of the next day. And then comments are subject to disclosure as public records, because that is true. Technically, anytime someone emails you, that's a public record. And people, if they want to, can ask for those public records. The last section, I think, is elected officials' use of social media. They should be subject to the same things our employees are subject to. County commissioners are cautioned about quorums. So if there is a dialogue going on and 3 of us are in on it, that's a quorum, that's a meeting. So we need to watch things like that. Any county commissioner, elected or appointed department head, member of a board, commission, committee, task force, or other appointed advisory group is reminded they are subject to the handbook appendix code of conduct. And all of those are listed in our code of conduct, which is already in our employee handbook, which we're probably looking at maybe updating for what Wanda was going to talk about tonight. So that's kind of the nutshell of how it's laid out. This is a draft version. At the top, do you use the word department, agency, or something else to describe our departments, if you will? Teams. I like team. But so anything that's not there that should be there, anything there that we should remove or change.
I think with departments, everything makes sense. When it comes to commission, I don't think it's in here, but who would be would the chair be official, postee?
And I think
How would we structure
I
that?
think we need to discuss, or at least the next commission needs to discuss, if we even have one. Does it serve a purpose? Does it serve a genuine government purpose, or is the county commission's purpose just the website, making sure we're meeting statutory requirements? Because that would get rid of that question on there.
And that really, for me, is the first question. For sure, the two current Facebook pages need to be gone.
Yep,
I was
and-
just gonna ask that.
They
Do we even
need to-
know how to do that, or who's on
Yeah, and
those?
I think John or Chris or those guys can help make sure that those are down, both of them. And then I think the question is, does the commission actually have their own Facebook page? When you look at the departments, it makes sense. Emergency management needs it, 4-H probably uses it probably more than anybody. Sheriff's Department doesn't really.
Veterans,
Highway Department doesn't, Veterans probably does, or could,
yeah.
They don't have one right now,
but
I
he
don't
doesn't
think.
have, yeah.
Yeah, they do.
The state's attorney's office doesn't have one right now. I mean, other counties do. But I think that's the question.
I would say
is-
we, as a commission, we do not. But we have the
Right.
county webpage, and then there's also the state's
Correct.
webpage that is kind of in beta right now, but that's intended to disseminate all information for everybody.
Yep, and I didn't want to take them down without the authority of the full commission, so the one page I'm pretty sure I can take down. I don't have access to the second page.
Do we know who does though, or?
I
you
think
know?
I might be able to, I don't know
Okay.
if I can take it down. I think I can
Do we need a
leave
motion on
the
that?
page.
I don't think we had a motion to
I don't think
start
we had a
them.
motion to set them up, so. But if everybody's good, we can pursue taking those down, and then the question is gone. As far as, and I'm trying to think, treasurer, the other elected officials, treasurer, auditor, register deeds, nobody has a,
Nobody does, no.
and state's attorney, sheriff does,
Sheriff.
but used very little, so most of the other are non-elected there.
Right.
Yeah, but the sheriff's department, with the incoming sheriff, he says he's gonna use it more.
Yep, and that very well may be the case, and that should have be a,
And the police department uses it heavily, so it could be very beneficial.
yep, so that would, to me, be a discussion in January, February with, Chrissy.
Preston,
Yep. And again, I think the city has someone who oversees all of theirs. We do not.
Yep, they have a master,
And that is,
Person.
to me, one of the problems with having the different Facebook pages, because we do not have a single administrator. They do. And so they're able to better control all of the pages because it's under a single person.
Are we just talking about the Facebook, or
Yes.
are we
Just Facebook.
okay, because Alyssa puts stuff, you know, like all my reports and levies and, you know, she puts that on my page, on the county.
But that's just the
Correct.
that's the county website.
That's the official
Yeah,
one.
that
So,
would
so
not
this is
change.
mainly Twitter, Facebook, I don't know
True.
what else would even be out there.
YouTube? Don't we put our videos on YouTube now?
But there's no comment, I mean, it's just it's a video. To me, there's no interaction there.
Oh, we shut the comments off?
There shouldn't be any comments, I
But
don't
you
think.
can comment on, I don't know if people do, but there's the ability to comment
Well.
on videos in YouTube.
You know, I guess I'd have to go out there and
So,
see if
I mean,
anybody has
I don't
said
spend that
anything.
much time on it.
And then 70% of YouTube is males, so is what I heard, so.
Shocker.
And then I would assume this goes, you know, to email too, and I don't have to mention, but there's somebody who likes to email us a lot, all of us, and, you know, blocking him, I guess, is that against the policy? You know, I just, because I,
know?
Well,
you know,
he's not emailing the county commission.
I-
He's mailing individual commissioners
but
and everybody else he's ever heard of.
have you seen the list? And I just, you know, if we're gonna be compliant, that, and you know, that's a situation there. I think he's demonstrated, maybe we need a policy on email where if you get 100 emails a day, you're allowed to block that person. I don't know, but
I don't think it
Comments
needs to
are
be
turned
100.
off.
on the YouTube,
I'm watching us right now.
How do we look?
Do you want me to wave to you?
but there's, maybe
Why didn't you tell me?
that's what we put in there, that we just take the comments off, and then we don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
Well, and
it
that's-
says comments are turned off right now.
And that was part of this. First one is every site needs to decide, is this a site where we're just disseminating information? And that, to me, that's our YouTube, we're just disseminating information. And then, or is it a site where we need to interact? Paul, site where he wants people to interact, say, my house blew down,
Yeah.
this part of the county is hit hard and things like that. So I think that when a new site comes up, this needs to be walked through and decide how it should be set up, who's controlling it, and they understand what they can and cannot do. So.
Well, I like what you have here, so.
So we certainly, we don't have to
Appreciate you
approve
doing
it
that.
tonight, give it some thought, rake over any other, situations you can think of. But this, again, is every policy, when it's developed, will be amended at some point in the future. So we can't get everything from the beginning, but a good basis is where we need to start.
Is this something we can just add to the handbook, do you think? Or would it be a standalone policy?
You know, we could probably just, and I should look at the number, if maybe there's a 314 or something in our book. Yeah, 313 is social media, 314 we can certainly insert and call it the, I don't know, we'll think of a good name instead of social media and something else. We'll think of a good name, but yes, I think we could put it as 314 as part of our handbook.
Okay.
And if we do it for the end of the year, you've got to update for the vacation
The holiday
anyway
schedule.
and stuff, and so then it'd make it easier just to do everything January 1, effective date.
If you use the term social media, using the KISS principle, that covers Twitter, YouTube, all of it. Anything that may come down the pipe too, so.
Yep.
Okay, well, everybody take another look at this, any thoughts, and before the end of the year,
Well,
we
see,
should try to adopt this into the handbook.
I think this is good, but I guess I hesitate to adopt it before the end of the year, because, you know, we got new people coming on, maybe they have a different take on something like that. I hate to initiate a policy, you know, that 40% of the board didn't have a hand in creating. So I think this is really good.
They
We just
do have
approved a
4
speed
years
limit
to
resolution.
update.
Should
What's
we
that?
wait? We
Well, I mean,
approved a
this is-
speed limit resolution,
this
Dan.
is-
I mean, we can't stop business
This is
because
something
two
different,
people are
though.
changing seats.
I think this is different, because
I-
that dealt with the safety of people's lives. This is something different. Like I said, I agree with everything, but I don't know if it's a good idea to do a bunch of policies.
I've got a
before
feeling
the-
if we don't, this is gonna deal with a lawsuit that the county's gonna be in over
Right.
this stuff.
And I'm gonna recommend it get done sooner rather than later. That, like I said, I would recommend we take care of the 2 Facebook pages we have right now that have caused the issues. And then the new commission can certainly determine if they want
Well, this
a
could be,
Facebook
yeah.
page or not. But this needs to be done because we need to make sure everybody understands what they can and cannot do on social media.
And this can easily be amended at any time.
And it's not as if they're picking on anybody, it's general guidelines. It's not, new commissioners can do this, and existing commissioners can do that. It's for everybody.
Okay, well, everybody give it a review. We'll get it on the agenda, maybe the first meeting in December.
December 6th.
Yeah.
Yep. So code of conduct will be on December 6th as well. Okay.
Okay, we've done minutes, claims. We are at public comment. Would anybody in the audience care to make a public comment? Hearing and seeing none, public comment is closed. We've done updates. Item 20, executive session for poor relief and personnel. I'd entertain a motion to go into executive session.
So moved.
Then I guess I'll
Oh my
second.
goodness, I think Wanda got the initial,
Give the second to Don.
and Don. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? We are now in executive session.
Thanks for roping me in there, buddy. Yeah, I already know about the 40 and 8, so. Huh?
It's like an old 5-ton army truck, you know what the maximum.
How about a deuce and a half?
You know what the maximum capacity of troops are there? There's always room for one more.
Yeah, there's always room for one
And
more.
don't ever piss off the truck driver. We were up in,
You know what's
Delonga.
worse? Pissing off your corpsman. You'll lose your shot record.
I think this is in Delonga, we were doing like mountaineering. One of the guys, female driver, pissed her off. Boom, boom, back and forth.
What's really fun is when you're in the back of those trucks. And
Been a while.
for those benches in the back. Yeah, you can go, you can be diving board there. When it's dry down and there's by the way, did you like the story I wrote last week? Nebraska is invading in the spring. Runs the state that there's water in there.
Really?
Yeah, I confirmed that with their
Probably because of
I haven't seen a lot.
Mission Hills, cesspool.
well, they're almost.
No,
Not entirely, but they're almost exclusively Nebraska. But, yeah, I got to break that story and we had like, in 24 hours, we had 25,000 hits on that on our. Yeah. See you guys.
Yes, Don.
Are you good, Deb?
Oh, I think
It's behind
it's
you.
the actual
Is it it's the
actual
microphone.
sound.
So in the
Yeah.
cabinet
Behind you.
behind you.
In that little closet. Hello?
I think, does
I
it
don't
take,
think
it
it's
takes a while
on.
to kick in. Yep, there we go.
There we go. I'd move to go back into regular session and out of
Second.
executive session.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
I'll make a motion to pay CW 21-3-054, CW MI 22-4-1, 22-4-2, 22-4-3, 22-4-5, 22-4-6, 22-4-7 in the amount of $3,696.79.
Second.
Further discussion. Motion and a second to pay cases as stated in the amount of $3,696.79. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes.
I would recommend the denial of CWMI 22-4-4, CW 21-4-34, CW 21-4-30, CW 21-4-48, CW 22-3-43, CW 22-3-45, CW 22-1-5, CW 22-2-32, CW 22-2-59, and CW 20-2-4 pursuant to SDCL 28-13-3, 28-13-3.1, 28-13-1.1, 28-13-27-6 sub A, 28-13-33. In the amount of $70,163.96.
Second.
Motion and a second to deny claims as stated for reasons as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And no action will be taken as a result of personnel issues at this time.
Give that to Patty, please.
Items for next meeting, we've got code of conduct and social media back on. Anything else?
Weren't we gonna talk about, thinking about the
Oh, social media.
inflation?
Yes, let's have that discussion.
Gonna do rural access infrastructure grants, or was that gonna be the second meeting in December?
That'll probably be
I thought Mike said the first one, but.
he's gonna try to get us that stuff. That could be first or second. Let's look at what kind of items are on there. Do you wanna put rural access? Infrastructure, kind of a question mark, if there's time.
So would that be just,
Your microphone's not on.
Yeah,
for the, wage, is that just cost, should I just put cost of living?
yeah,
Yeah.
yep, that'll be fine for that. And then we also have, yeah, I think that's it. Okay. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We are now adjourned.
8:01, I was closer to you. like 1 minute.
Oh, should I hurry up?
You went over.
Huh?
You went over. When you go over, you're done.
No,
Yeah,
you went over. I went
no,
under.
no, I didn't. I was under.
That's why I write it down.
Oh, you were under, yeah.
It's not on, oh. Oh, it's probably in the
I'm gonna tell
packet.
you,
What?
Okay,
I'm gonna tell you that I don't think
uh-huh.
this interview thing was all.
See, normally in the minutes, when she gives them me to put there, I just put a total.
He's the reason we have a problem.
Okay, I'll have her do it. Yep.
But, I will check and see, I didn't bring my calendar, check and see what, I know that Thursday, for part of the day, I have to be with Judge Gary, and I can't remember what I'm doing Friday. No, I have a trial Monday.
Did you guys wanna set up a time to meet with Mike and Julie?
Matt.
And, those guys, Stevie, Julie, and Gene Hana to discuss
Oh,
some of
Mike.
these issues for.
I was thinking
That's all right, right?
interviews and
No.
not,
No, no, I mean, just, cause I think we're gonna have a ton of challenges.
I think so.
I thought we were gonna try to set it up for after the
Yeah.
after the city,
county,
You're gonna-
city one. I'm gonna,
That'll work, and then,
then do it here.
I can email you a couple things, you know, that I see as, you know, the bridge improvement grants are gonna be huge, but, you know, how this, Medicare expansion, like, hopefully it'll help us, but. It sounds